Good morning all attendees and participants in our virtual room. We are going to commence the opening ceremony shortly. Thank you so much for being here at our virtual room. I am Yusmita. I'm presenting to you live from the control room of the Graha Cakrawala at Universitas Negeri Malang. All preparation is underway and we will start the ceremony next couple of minutes. We are awaiting our rector to be in place and then we will start the opening. With you to enjoy the opening ceremony. Thank you very much.
Selamat datang di Graha Cakrawala Universitas Negeri Malang. Sebelum acara dimulai, kami akan menyampaikan fasilitas dan aspek keselamatan dari gedung ini. Luas gedung adalah 7.500 meter persegi dengan kapasitas audiens kurang lebih 6.000 orang. Gedung ini dilengkapi dengan pendingin ruangan sehingga dilarang merokok. Gedung ini dilengkapi dengan sound system sebesar 40.000 watt serta tata lampu yang sangat memadai. Gedung ini juga dilengkapi fasilitas multimedia berupa layar LED 8x3 meter di main stage dan 2 buah LED berukuran 4x6 meter di sebelah kanan dan kiri. Terdapat toilet khusus untuk VIP di bagian kiri depan dan toilet di bagian backstage untuk panitia dan talent. Terdapat juga 4 toilet di area depan, kanan, kiri, luar gedung. Perhatikan pintu darurat yang ada di sekitar Anda. Gedung ini dilengkapi dengan banyak pintu keluar. 9 di bagian kanan, 9 di bagian kiri, serta 3 di bagian depan. Terdapat beberapa titik hidran atau apar sejumlah 4 buah di bagian dalam dan 4 buah di bagian luar gedung. Dalam keadaan darurat, jangan panik, karena ada petugas keamanan dan medis profesional yang bertugas dalam acara ini. Terima kasih.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, you are kindly invited to stand for the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Please rise. Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, presenters, and participants. Now that we have sung the Indonesian national anthem, we are about to begin our program in a few minutes. We would like to remind those who are present in this auditorium to not open their Zoom application, because this is a hybrid conference.
Welcome to Universitas Negeri Malang.
Welcome to Universitas Negeri Malang. Welcome to Universitas Negeri Malang. Located in 3 different places, UM provides a comfortable environment for teaching and learning. The main and second campus are located in Malang, surrounded by educational facilities, places for recreation, sports, and business. The third campus is located in the same area as the Shrine of Sukarno, Indonesia's first president in Blitar, East Java. Established on October 18, 1954, UM was born with the name of University of Teacher Education, or PTPG. In 1957, it became the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, or FKIP. Then, in 1963, it became the Teacher Training and Education Institute, or IKIT. Finally, in 1999, it transformed into Universitas Negeri Malang, which is known to this day. Since its establishment until now, has established itself as one of the 12 educational higher education institutions and is included in the 15 best campuses in Indonesia. One of the visions and missions, is to become a leading university and an authoritative center of excellence in the fields of science, technology, and education. Develops a flexible, adaptable curriculum taught by teachers who guide students and provide skills for the future workforce to become active lifelong learners, independent problem solvers, creators of better communities, and bring education to life. Educates students across 8 faculties. Also conducts special programs such as postgraduate program and teacher professional program. Has been granted an unggulan or excellent by the National Accreditation Agency of Universities, or BNPT. Furthermore, there are 4 study programs that have been assessed internationally by AUNQA, and more study programs are accredited by ASIIN and ACAS International Accreditation. As one of the reference universities and a center of learning innovation, continues to develop knowledge and scientific research while providing quality education and training. Has also produced many research products that have the right patent, published internationally, and ready to be commercialized. In line with our new tagline, Excellence in Learning Innovation, is the house for top science and technology center in higher education in DLI, or Disruptive Learning Innovation. Disruptive Learning Innovation Center develops innovation in smart learning with research focus on digital
book that you received when you registered this morning was printed 2 weeks ago. And since then, we've had several revisions. Now, to get the latest version, you can scan the QR code on your name tag or on the back cover of the printed program book. Thank you. So once again, welcome. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you to this conference, we will now have a performance of Gandrung Marsan dance. This dance originates from the Banyuwangi region. The movements depict the spirit and fire of the fight for independence, which oftentimes amaze people. With a high-spirited music and song, like the waves that destroy colonialism, this dance will take us to the spirit of freedom and liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gandrung Marsan dance.
kawitan urip soro zaman perang Asia gandrung pilu berjuang.
Well, that is the Gandrung Marsan dance. And for your information, all the dancers and the musicians behind us are students of the Department of Arts and Design in Universitas Negeri Malang, and they are particularly students of the study program of music and dance education. So music and dance education. Thank you.
We hope you have enjoyed the beautiful welcome dance Gandrung Marsan. Now let us have the opening address from the chair of this joint hybrid conference, Ms. Francisca Maria Yvonne. Ms. Yvonne, you are kindly requested to do the honor.
Honorable guests, speakers, and participants. A very good morning to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee, I'm proud to physically and virtually welcome everyone to Malang, Indonesia, and the same or similar interests. This year's theme, Hindsight, Insight, and Foresight in ELT in Multilingual Asia, and its 22 topics have attracted 942 on-site and online presenters and participants. And they are from 32 different countries in the world. 17 of them are from Asia. Our keynote, plenary, and featured speakers have considered these topics, and we look forward to hearing a variety of perspectives in ELT. We warmly welcome the keynote speakers from Indonesia, Professor Nisam, Director General of Higher Education Indonesia, Professor Ismunandar, Ambassador and Permanent Delegation of the Republic of Indonesia to UNESCO, and the 6 featured speakers from Singapore, Professor Christine Goh from China, Professor Kui Fang Wen from Australia, Dr. Emilia Jonoff from Indonesia, Professor Utami Widiati from the USA, Professor Greg Kessler, and from the United Kingdom, Professor Ken Hyland, and all of the 32 featured speakers invited by the AsiaTEFL-TEFLIN and Universitas Negeri Malang. This year's joint conference is made possible by the dedication and hard work of our committee members and the support from the AsiaTEFL and TEFLIN Board, Universitas Negeri Malang, the Department of English, Universitas Negeri Malang, as well as our partners, RILO, the British Council, and ETS TOEFL, and all of our sponsors, Clarity English, English Core, BenQ, Nuadu, IIEF, Bank BTN, Bank BNI 46, Bank Rakyat Indonesia, and Bank CIMB Niaga. We also want to extend our gratitude to IERA, ITEL, RILO Academic Writing Center, and British Council, and many lecturers from numerous universities in Indonesia who have volunteered in the pre-conference workshop day yesterday. We are indebted to many. The track record of AsiaTEFL, TEFLIN-iNELTAL excellence continue to this year. The hard work of everyone involved in this conference is one of the core strengths and adds tremendous value to the conference organization. We thank all of them for volunteering their time and energy in service to our community. Finally, we would like to thank all presenters for their willingness to share their research and ideas, and all participants for their keen and active participation. Without your efforts, this conference would not be possible. We hope that you will have an enjoyable conference and productive time in Malang and virtually from all over the world, and leave with fond memories of the conference we have these days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yvonne, for the insightful opening address. Our next address will be delivered online by the AsiaTEFL presidents, Mr. Kilyong Lee and Mr. Ravinder Gargesh. Mr. Lee and Mr. Gargesh, time is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Very good morning to you all. It is with great happiness that 2022 AsiaTEFL Conference is being held in Malang, Indonesia. I'm very proud that the AsiaTEFL Conference was not disrupted during the pandemic and were held with an indomitable spirit in Goyang, Korea in 2020, New Delhi, India in 2021, and in Malang, Indonesia this year without any cessation. First of all, I'm deeply grateful to the organizing committee led by the chair, Professor Francisca Maria Ivan, for its tremendous efforts in making this conference possible. In 2020, when the pandemic was on the rise, Indonesia raised its hand and volunteered to hold the 2022 conference. I highly appreciate Professor Suarsi Madia and Professor Utami Widyati for their initiative in holding this conference during the pandemic. I also want to give my thanks to the Chancellor of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. A.H. Rofi Udin, MPD, for his generosity to hold this conference in this university. This is the third conference since the outbreak of COVID-19. AsiaTEFL has reacted quickly and efficiently to changing situations and has successfully held the last two conferences. I'm very positive that this conference will be another successful one due to the organizing committee's outstanding dedication despite this pandemic. This conference is being held jointly with TEFLIN and the Department of English, Universitas Negeri Malang, under the theme of Hindsight, Insight, and Foresight in ELT in Multilingual Asia. I'm sure that this collaboration will add richness to the conference and spread the theme to every corner of ELT in Asia. The conference will be also successful due to the lineup of presenters. I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to the invited speakers, such as the keynote speakers, Professor Nizam, Director General of Higher Education Indonesia, our 6 plenary speakers, and the 32 featured speakers for sharing their expertise. Most of all, my thanks go to many more presenters who make this conference meaningful and special. All of their presentations from diverse areas will excite and inform us. I hope you enjoy taking what you learn here at this conference, applying it to your classrooms. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now have the AsiaTEFL anthem, which will be presented by the Universitas Negeri Malang Choir, Suara Satata Sakti.
Oh, good. Well, next welcoming speech should be from Professor Gargish, Ravindra Gargish. Yes.
I'm sorry. Now is the time for Mr. Ravindra Gargesh to present.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The speech.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming you all to the AsiaTEFL International Conference at the Universitas Negeri Malang in Indonesia. Yes, and as Professor Lee pointed out, in 2021, we were forced to go for an entirely online conference in India due to the raging pandemic. And the present shift to the hybrid mode this year perhaps is the signal for the oncoming better days. Indonesia has been a very dynamic member of AsiaTEFL. Not only have participants from Indonesia participated in all the conferences in large numbers, but also Indonesia has the distinction of hosting the AsiaTEFL conference for the third time. The earlier two being in Bali in 2008 and Yogyakarta in 2017. This conference becomes more special due to the sterling efforts of Professor Madhya, who was able to locate the university in Indonesia to host this conference at a relatively very short notice. Kudos to the conference chair, Professor Francisca Maria Ivone, and all other members of the organizing committee for their hard work and for their excellent preparation for the conference. I'm sure that this conference will also be among the most successful ones of AsiaTEFL. This conference is going to focus on challenges, directions, and developments that are visible today in the teaching of English in Asia. The topics are wide-ranging, and these include teaching technologies, digital literacy, curriculum and syllabus design, ESP, assessment and evaluation, discourse analysis, critical literacies, and much more. Being the largest association of English language teachers in Asia, this conference will provide, I'm sure, a very rich and varied fare. I would like to express my thanks to TEFLIN and INELTAL for teaming up with AsiaTEFL for holding of this annual conference. I'm sure the outcome will be of mutual benefit to all the participant associations. My sincere appreciation to all the people who have all the sponsors, particularly Regional English Language Office of the United States Department, the British Council, the ETS, TEFL, and all other sponsors. Finally, my gratitude to our distinguished plenary speakers, featured speakers, participants of the symposia, organizers of the workshop, and to all conference presenters, as well as non-presenters, all participants. I would like to heartily thank our Executive Council members, AB members, and all directors in our AsiaTEFL organization for their dedication and help that has led to the organization of this conference at Malang. At last but not the least, I wish to warmly thank our Joint President, Professor Negeri, who's a close friend, a colleague. He has very efficiently shared all the responsibilities with me for the initial search and the final selection of the Universitas Negeri Malang for this conference. I must admit that his contribution has been great. I'm sure it is the collective effort of everyone that is going to make this conference a great success. Whether we participate on-site or online, I hope we will get an opportunity of sharing not only our academic perspectives, but will also bask in friendship and warmth, which I suppose will be amply generated by this conference. Please stay safe, stay well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravinder Gargesh. Dear audience, now we will have the choir Swara Satata Sakti to present AsiaTEFL anthem. Please do, Your Honor.
Dear audience, the next in our agenda is the welcome address by the TEFLIN President, Professor Utami Widiati. Ibu Utami, please do the honor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Top Management of Universitas Negeri Malang, Rector Professor Ahmad Rofiuddin, Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Professor Budi Eko Sucipto, Vice Rector for Planning and Cooperation, Professor Ibrahim Bafadal, distinguished delegates and guests, esteemed AsiaTEFL board members, esteemed TEFLIN board members, respected invited speakers, presenters, and participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. As the president of TEFLIN, I'm very pleased to warmly welcome you all, either in person or virtually, to the 20th AsiaTEFL, the 60th TEFLIN, and the 5th INELTAL Conference 2022, hosted by Universitas Negeri Malang. The annual conference of TEFLIN this year is organized in collaboration with AsiaTEFL and Department of English, Universitas Negeri Malang, covering a deep underlying theme of hindsight, insight, and foresight in ERT in multilingual Asia. The conference theme implies the importance of our abilities as educators to have self-awareness and a growth mindset. Much literature has shown that hindsight is the first step taken in order to become more self-aware. Being reflective by looking back at our past adversity and actions taken provides a useful beginning in our efforts to function differently. Insight, on the other hand, occurs when we become more self-aware of our actions as well as behaviors. We might have struggled with online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic, which yet eventually offers us some insight as we experiment with a wide variety of online teaching and learning tools. Concerning foresight, we may relate it to the final goal in promoting change, that is, achieving the state of self-awareness. Change may be best achieved when we can foresee an opportunity or situation where we can employ our collection of hindsight and insight and take actions to achieve our goals. I strongly believe that having these three together, hindsight, insight, and foresight, we all can work together toward the attainment of what sets an excellent ERT educator. As a TEFLIN president, I sincerely hope that this conference can be of a great forum for everyone to ponder on your past actions, to gain new insights, and to exchange your foresights as you are spending time together here in this community of practice. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of TEFLIN Board, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to sponsoring agencies and institutions that have supported us in holding this conference. First of all, Our sincere appreciation goes to AsiaTEFL, particularly the board members and current co-presidents, Professor Keryang Lee and Professor Ravinder Garges, and the vice presidents, Professor Ju Kyung Park and Professor Swashiv Madhya, for their continuous support. TEFLIN is also thankful to the British Council, Pak Holm, terima kasih, for offering the British Council sponsorship to 10 English lecturers and teachers. We also would like to express our special thanks to the Director of Regional English Language Office of the U.S. Embassy Jakarta, Pak Brett. Matur nuwun, terima kasih, for providing us with a solicitation award for the AsiaTEFL 2022 conference. Would like to extend our gratitude to the invited speakers and paper presenters who contribute to the success of this conference. Please allow me to express my special thanks to our keynote speakers and plenary speakers, Professor Nizam, the Director General of Higher Education, Professor Ismunandar, Ambassador, Permanent Delegation of Republic of Indonesia to UNESCO, Professor Ken Highland of University of East Anglia in the United Kingdom, Professor Christine Ga, National Institute of Education, Singapore, Professor Greg Kessler. Greg is here with us, coming in person from Ohio University, the United States of America, and Dr. Emilia Jonoff from Macquarie University, Australia, and Professor Hui Wang Wang from Beijing Foreign Studies University, China. I would like to personally extend my appreciation to the Honorable Rector of Universitas Negeri Malang, as well as to the head of the Department of English, Dr. Suharyadi, for the willingness and cooperation to host this conference. In addition, I wish to express my deepest gratitude to the conference committee chaired by Dr. Francisca Maria Ivon for their hard work to make this academic forum, which is now before us, possible. Last but not least, I would like to also thank all the presenters and participants for making their efforts to be here in person or to join the conference virtually. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very successful conference and a wonderful time learning from one another. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now have the TEFLIN anthem presented by the Universitas Negeri Malang Choir, Suara Satata Sakti.
Trying our best to stay forced to move forward. We're the servant of the nation, always true in dedication. Never set time for the second best. We only strive for the very best. We only strive for the very, very best.
Distinguished audience, we now invite the Rector of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. Ahmad Rafiuddin, to deliver his congratulatory remarks. Professor Rafiuddin, please do the honor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, represented by Prof. Nizam, Higher Education Dirjen, the Vice Governor of East Java, Dr. Emil Dardak, the AsiaTEFL President and board member, the TEFLIN President and board member, Organizing Committee of AsiaTEFL-TEFLIN-iNELTAL 2022 Indonesia, Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Vice Rector for Planning and Coordination, Cooperation, distinguished, especially my senior, ini Prof. Ali Sauka, Prof. Fuad Abdul Hamid, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 20th AsiaTEFL 68th TEFLIN and 5th INELTAL 2022. Welcome in this conference. On behalf of Universitas Negeri Malang, I would like to extend my great gratitude to AsiaTEFL and TEFLIN President and board member for giving us a pleasure to hold this prestigious event. Ladies and gentlemen, since 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted everyone globally. The educational system worldwide is not spared from being affected by the pandemic. Without a choice, teaching and learning activities have been forced to migrate online and conducted remotely to control the spread of the virus. Despite this challenging time, the education sector has shown resilience and perseverance in adapting to this change to ensure that the teaching and learning survive. Now, working from home and remote online learning have become part of our new normal. Along this new norm, innovative approach, techniques, and method on online teaching, learning, assessment, and evaluation have been developed to cater to this rapidly changing world. The AsiaTEFL 2022 conference provide an excellent platform for the dissemination of knowledge, research idea, and innovation on English language teaching with help educators, researchers, practitioners, students, and education stakeholders to overcome the challenge and meet the demand of this 21st centuries. I believe that the presenter and participant will enjoy this stimulating conference and let us leave with better insight that will help to enhance the teaching and learning discourse and activities. I would also like to express my great appreciation for our partner, British Council, RILO, ETS, for their generous support for the conference as well as other program at university. You are important to us, and we hope that our partnership will continue to grow in the futures. Last but not least, I would like to convey my deepest gratitude and congratulations to the AsiaTEFL-TEFLIN-iNELTAL 2022 committee and their partners and sponsors for their effort and work in making this hybrid conference reality. I wish great success for this conference, and we look forward to future collaboration with Universitas Negeri Malang. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now have the UM choir again to present the Universitas Negeri Malang March.
menyongsong hari cemerlang pesona Indonesia gemilang mengemban amanat negara. Antarkan putra bangsa, damai makmur sentosa. UN mendidik dan mengabdi, berbakti dengan tulus hati, berkarya membangun jati diri, cinta kreasi, inovasi, prestasi, belajar sepanjang masa, unggul berkarya, wujudkan dunia, wujudkan jiwa Pancasila, jaya UM sepanjang masa. Langkah bukan tercinta, membangun insan cerdas mulia, menyongsong hari cemerlang pesona Indonesia gemilang, mengemban amanat negara, laksanakan tugas dharma, angkatan putra bangsa, damai makmur sentosa. Mendidik dan mengabdi, berbakti dengan tulus hati, berkarya membangun jati diri, cinta kreasi, inovasi, prestasi, belajar sepanjang masa, unggul berkarya, wujudkan dunia, wujudkan jiwa Pancasila, jaya UN sepanjang masa.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we will now listen to the congratulatory remarks which will be delivered online by the Vice Governor of East Java, Dr. Emil Dardak.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Greetings of the AsiaTEFL-TEFLIN and INELTAL 2022 International Timeline Conference. Allow me to first congratulate University of Malang, Universitas Negeri, for the successful hosting of this which is an international conference that addresses very important issues on how we can promote and advance the field of English, where researchers, lecturers, teachers, and English language education interact with each other and discuss and share the research on how they can advance the practice of English language education. I understand that throughout the 2 decades or 20 years of the existence of AsiaTEFL, Indonesia has been a host for 3 times, which is in 2008, 2017, and now in 2022. And I understand that this conference has combined AsiaTEFL with the Association of Teachers of English as Foreign Language in Indonesia, TEFLIN, the 68th, and the International English Teachers and Lecturers, or INELTAL, the 5th conference. So many important agenda are currently taking place at this conference, and I believe that this is a great opportunity for all of us to really discuss ways that we can enhance the literacy of English language, because it is a very important medium for all of us to access information and knowledge that is available in a very accessible manner nowadays with the development of internet and of course the penetration of mobile and gadgets. It is very important that our society will be able to not only understand information but also to produce information that can be accessed globally, and using English as a language is certainly one of the prerequisites for being able to share this information to a wider audience. And I believe that technology has also helped us in improving the effectiveness concrete results and also foster greater collaboration between all the stakeholders in the field of English teaching. And once again, I would like to thank the AsiaTEFL and also INELTAL for trusting East Java, specifically Malang, to be the host for this important international conference. And I hope that all the participants will be having fruitful deliberation over the coming days of this conference. So once again, all the best. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We now invite the Rector of Universitas Negeri Malang, Professor Dr. Ahmad Rafiuddin, to again come to the stage and hit the gong. Professor Rafiuddin, would you please do the honor?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Konferensi internasional ke-20 AsiaTEFL, ke-68 TEFLIN, dan ke-5 INELTAL 2022 saya nyatakan resmi dan dimulai.
Of IIEF, representative of Bank Tabungan Negara, Bank Negara Indonesia, Bank Rakyat Indonesia, and representative of IMB Bank.
confident. While the other test uses in-person interviews, the TOEFL test is taken online at a TOEFL. Give yourself the advantage. Take the TOEFL test.
Kumrojok tanpa larapan, budale para prajurit, dampyak lampaira, natapi dawuh sanata, natapi dawuh sanata.
Distinguished audience, as the final agenda this morning, let us now listen to the keynote speeches by Professor Nizam, the Director General of Higher Education, Republic of Indonesia, and Professor Is Munandar, the Ambassador and Permanent Delegate of the Republic of Indonesia to UNESCO.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, semangat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, semangat pagi. Malang, chairs of the AsiaTEFL-TEFLIN-iNELTAL 2022 International Hybrid Conference. Keynote speakers, participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Syukur Alhamdulillah, may praise be to Allah for His blessing that we can come today to this International Hybrid Conference in a good health. First of all, I would like to congratulate Universitas Negeri Malang for hosting this very important International Hybrid Conference on teaching of English as a foreign language. It's an honor for me to welcome you to this conference and wishing you all well and wishing you all have a fruitful conference. As the world is getting more and more connected, the need to communicate among people from different nationalities becoming more and more important, with more than 6,500 languages, spoken languages in the world today. It will be difficult to communicate without some kind of common language. Although English is not the most spoken language in the world, comes third, if I'm not mistaken, after Mandarin and Spanish, it is undoubtedly the most widely spoken and taught as a second language globally. English is also known as language of the internet, the language of science, the language of aviation, the language of computer, of trade, and of diplomacy. The importance of English is no doubt we all realize. It is one of the key factors in gaining access to opportunities. Being able to speak English helps people to connect with each other globally, opens up access to ocean of information, knowledge, science, and technology. And it is a bonus to enter employment. Foreign language proficiency helps us to better express ourselves. With the coming of the internet to our living room, our kids today learn English as early as they can hold a smartphone. They learn from games, cartoons, and many internet applications that are mostly use English as the medium of instruction and the medium of communication. Today, more than 5 billion people access the internet. In Indonesia, more than 70% of its population, that means more than 200 million people, access the internet on daily basis. According to International Telecommunication Union, on average, Indonesians spend 8 hours using the internet daily. That means a third of our lives are hooked into the internet. Given the fact that more than 50% of information on the internet are in English, make the language indispensable for academia, especially in searching for information on cutting-edge science and development. English is also half the ticket to get into world-class universities. Many times, a brilliant student or lecturers fail to get acceptance to the best universities due to lack of English proficiency. Therefore, I think it's very important to teach or to learn English starting from as early as possible in our schools. Not only the grammar, but more importantly, the use of English as a medium of communications, as a medium to get information whether on occasional communication or scientific communication at university level. I wish this conference will bring information and experience sharing on the teaching of English as a foreign language among participants to this conference. To conclude, I would like to quote from Badan Bahasa, utamakan bahasa Indonesia, kuasai bahasa asing, lestarikan bahasa daerah, which translate into prioritize Indonesian. That means to translate it more universally, use your international language well, master foreign language or foreign languages, and preserve regional and local languages. Wish you all the best from the conference. Bring back home good memories from the conference. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning from Paris. The Rector of University Negeri Malang, Chair of the Organizing Committee, Presidents of AsiaTEFL, Presidents of TEFLIN, and the keynote speakers and colleagues, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, it is a pleasure to be here and to join the conference, although virtually. I've like very much if I can join you in person in Malang, one of the cities that I like very much. And I would like also to thank the organizing committee for invitation to speak. What I'm going to share basically is a new report from UNESCO on the vision of education 2050, one generation from now, and what the takeaway for the EELT. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you briefly what is UNESCO. UNESCO is a specialist agency in United Nations. It was founded with the mission of contributing to peace and security by promoting international collaboration through education, science, and cultures. I would like also to mention that with the background of 2 world wars in less one generation between 1920 to 1945, our mother and fathers came to the conclusion that political and economic agreement only could not build a lasting peace. Peace must be established on the basis of humanity, morals, and intellectual solidarity. This is just some of the facts and figures of UNESCO, with current 193 member states. And UNESCO actually presents also on 54 countries. UNESCO currently has staff from more 169 nationality with a very good balance, with a good gender balance up to the top management in UNESCO. One of the excellent works of UNESCO with member state is in heritage protection, the biosphere, biodiversity, geodiversity, and natural as well as cultural heritage. And this is a very significant contribution toward mitigating climate change, one of the current top challenges. On the right-hand side here, I quote some of the key challenges for UNESCO and actually for all of us also as educators have to solve. We see here that with a lot of potential and benefits, education in many parts of the world still have a very minimal budget. While in the same times, there are huge teachers' demands, a lot of students still out of school, and also huge number of youth lacks basic literacy skill. With the theme of the conference, hindsight, insight, and foresight of ELT in multilingual Asia is commendable. Hindsight, insight, and foresight are the best things that we can do for shaping our futures. The same spirit actually was inspired the International Commission of Future of Education in UNESCO. And the result is the report, the book that was put together over the course of 2 years by the global thought leaders. UNESCO International Commission on Future Education, which is an independent commission to reimagine how knowledge and learning can be shaped for the future of humanity and the planet. The initiative incorporates extensive public and expert engagement and aims to catalyze global debate on how education needs to be rethought in the world of increasing complexity and uncertainty and fragility. Thus, the report was prepared through a process for co-construction and dialogues that involve over 1 million people from around the world. People offered their idea in meeting webinars, focus group, through online platform, polls and survey, and this broad open consultation process involved youth, educators, civil society, also governments, business, and many other stakeholders. This kind of visioning exercise is something UNESCO has taken at 2 previous moments. In fact, it is a third in a series of once a generation foresight exercise. The first things is learning to be referred to as a 4 report that I believe all of you know very well. And then also DLAW reports, 1 generation later, 1996, before this 2021 Future of Education report. As we know, 4 report of International Commission on Development of Education, set up in the beginning of 1971, chaired by Edgar Fogg. The report aims to assist government in formulating national strategies in changing universe. The report recommended lifelong education or education permanente as global master concept for education. DLAW report, 1 generation later, created by DLAW Commission, it is proposed as integrated vision of throughout life education and formula of learning to know, to do, and to live together. With all humanistic vision of education, the new report, Future of Education, was also based. Next, what I'm going to do is quickly to go through some of important points of the report and the takeaway for IELTS. Many of us now are aware of the increasing of the world is at the turning point. In fact, if we are honest with ourselves, if we are keep doing the same way, even faster and more efficient, is propelling us toward a cliff. We face a choice between continue in unsustainable path or radically change the course. We know also that education has great power to bring about change, and knowledge and learning are essential for social transformation. Economics models that prioritize short-term profit, excessive consumerism are tightly linked with individualism, competitiveness, and lack of empathy that characterize too many of our society around the globe. The report begins with an assessment of the state of the world long-term trend that show we have come a long way in education. in terms of educational access, learning outcome, and gender equality. But progress has been so far uneven, and many of today's gaps are based on exclusion and injustice from the past. We are at the moment where too many things feel very out of balance, and we need to relearn our interdependency. We need to rebalance our relationship with one another, with living planets, and also with technology. We also face a number of key emerging disruptions and features, uncertain features. Despite the urgency of action, we have a considerable reason to be full of hope. We see that, of course, the planet is in peril. By estimate, the current ecological footprint of our human being requires 1.6 planet Earth. But in fact, we only have one Earth. That means that our cost of resource continue to grow. It's not takes a planet 1 year and 8 months to regenerate what we use in one single year. But there is also a great momentum to heal it. A new ecological-oriented education is one of them. The annual observance of Earth Day each April has become one of the largest secular celebration of people around the world. The problems of democratic governance is under attack everywhere in the world now. But we are in the same times also see citizenship and citizen participation is growing. Digital technologies doesn't always deliver, but they do have a huge potential in the world of work in ensuring human-centered world of work. It is also very important for us that education not only reacts, but also play a role in shaping the futures that we want. So the position of the commission of the book takes the report is one of the hope. Despite urgency of action, we have considerable reason to be full of hope. We have greater access to knowledge, access to more tools that enable us to collaborate that ever before in human history. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 questions that the report encourages us, every us, to always ask. What should we continue doing? What are things or what we're doing now that we should stop doing? And the other one is that what we need to be invented and creatively reimagine afresh now. These are the questions that Commission asks each of us to always ask, and I think need to be continually asked. Ladies and gentlemen, with all that background, I think ELT is very important in effort to rebalance our relationship, especially with other humans, human natures with planet, and also human with technology. As been mentioned by several speakers before me, that common language is very important in communications and also in terms of producing the knowledge. Common language and language of knowledge is the key. The following, just to reiterate what other speaker has said, I'll also make relevance, make ALT more relevant today. As we have seen, and we have aware that English is still become language, lingua franca, and also the de facto of language of knowledge. Our conference today is held in English. The world top scientific journal are mostly in English. Even sometimes scientific jargon in English, and most of the non-native English speaker use the term and don't bother to reinvent the equivalent word in their native language. I would also to mention, just to have the figures, this is the current on the recent PISA report that says that internet use in the age group is rocketed 66%, almost equivalent to the average adult work week across OECD country. The increasing share of internet user worldwide is changing not only how people interact with each other, but also how they interact with text. People now access information through digital device where they once did so in print or by talking to other people. The rise of digital technology means that people need to be more selective in what they read, and also due to the vast quantity of information available on the click of button. What we know during and after pandemics, this number, I believe, increased. Now the digital world has become the real world. And speaking on the internet world or digital world, more than half of homepages of the most visited websites are in English, with varying amounts of information available in other language. For example, in Indonesia, last data showed there's only 0.8%. Although actually we also see that we actually in the world have more than 8,000 languages. Actually, the number is constantly in flux because we are learning more about language every day. And beyond that, language themselves are in flux. They are living and dynamic, spoken by many communities who live are shaped by rapidly changing words. This is a fragile time for language. Roughly 40% of language in the world are endangered, often with fewer than 1,000 speakers remaining. Meanwhile, also just 23 languages account for more than half of world population. And just mention it, that digital now become real world. The striking numbers of only 2% languages are used in the internet is worrisome. Indonesia being a second in the number of local language also have the same challenges. But again, to conserve, to safeguard the language, we need also common spoken language. With all these challenges and with notes of the importance of ELT, how we reform the education and especially ELT. The report suggests a roadmap. Firstly, in pedagogy, the way the relationship between learner, teacher, and knowledge need to be reformed. There is a quite often that in many places today focus on teacher-driven lesson, despite the fact that learners come together in the same space. Efforts are largely directed at individual accomplishment, while in the same time we see that the individual accomplishment is probably part of the root of the problems. We need more solidarity. We need more collaborations. So the report proposed that new pedagogy should be organized around cooperation, collaboration, and solidarity. It should foster the intellectual, social, and moral capacities of students to work together and transform the world with empathy and compassion. Secondly, in many instances, teaching is considered as individual practices, sometimes conducted behind a closed classroom door. But the Commission argues that we need to further professionalize teaching as a collaborative endeavor where the autonomy and freedom of teacher is supported and they become value participants in public debates on the futures of education. And then the Commission agreed the significant role of school. If school didn't exist, it's something that we would need to invent. But that doesn't mean that we need to just accept and be satisfied with what kind of school we have today. So school need to be safeguarded and simultaneously transformed. School need to be places that bring diverse group of people together and expose them to the challenges and possibility not available everywhere, elsewhere. So school architecture, space, timetable, and student grouping should be redesigned to encourage and enable individuals to work together. Digital technology should aim to support, not to replace school. And finally, when we consider education at all time and space of learning, we need to move away from thinking about education as something that only happens in school and only at certain age. Instead, we should welcome educational opportunity all times and all space. With all time of life, people should have meaningful, quality education opportunities. The right to education need to be broadened to lifelong and encompass the right to information, right to cultures, right to access science, and right to access connectivity. Now, briefly, to mention what should we talk or what should we teach. Currently, many parts of the world curricula are organized as a grid of subjects, and the report argues that instead we need to shift to emphasize ecological, intercultural, interdisciplinary learning in many areas. Curricular must embrace ecological understanding of humanity that rebalance the way we relate to each other, to Earth, and to one of our singular home, that is the Earth. The spread of misinformation should be countered through scientific, digital, and humanistic literacy that develop ability to distinguish falsehood from the truth. In educational content, method, and policy, we should promote active citizenship and democratic participation. This is a long shopping list of what curriculum should give. From curricula for the damaged planet, drawing on humanities, scientific inquiry, and understanding, to educating the human right, active citizenship, and democratic participation. In all of this, I think English and ELT play a very important role. And I would like to quote some of the report regarding the plurilingual futures. Language has been central to human identity, knowledge, and being. In order to broaden participation and inclusion, the future of literacy must go beyond reading and writing. To reinforce the capacity of understanding and expression of all their forms, orally, textually, and through widening diversity of media, including storytelling and art. Literacy education can go beyond classroom and school to become society-wide commitment. The third, curricula are showing a shift from national monolingualism toward plurilingualism. This is done via teaching of foreign language, local language, and sign language. This has also become very important, as among others. This is a shift that needs to be sustained and expanded. In many settings, bilingual and plurilingual education policy are necessary to support learner cultural identities and to allow full participation in society. Plurilanguage education creates further opportunity for participation in global conversation, work, and culture. In the world that is increasingly interdependent, there is an obvious value of learning different language, and their individual and collective benefit is not restricted to communication. Language is more than communication. Language carry perspective on the world and unique ways of understanding. Linguistic diversity is key to feature of humanity shared knowledge commons, and education has key role to play in sustaining it. I would like to mention regarding of misinformation that should be countered through scientific, digital, and humanistic literacy that develop the ability to distinguish falsehood from truth. The result from current PISA, again, I want to quote here, that once again give alarming sign. Our young people, the one that we always say they are digital native, actually only 40% of them can distinguish fact from the opinion. Numbers that actually stay the same since 2000s. In this case, media and information literacy, the subject of this new curriculum launched from UNESCO in 2019, I humbly encourage to be referred. Since the future of our democratic society and our response to all manner of global challenges will depend on ensuring every citizen can think critically, and click wisely. It will depend on ensuring media and information literacy for all. Lastly, the report is actually a call for participation, a role for all of everyone to be taking part of reimagining our futures together. And I commend what you done all in this community to reimagine our ELT education in the future. All of us have to take part to those three questions that I already mentioned. To think about in our own school, our own community, in our own university. What happened in our school, our university, our community that should continue? What happened that need to be abandoned, and what need to be creatively reimagined afresh? And I think through a million of us taking forward these ideas, we will achieve some change. I would like to quote Nelson Mandela to conclude the presentations. Nelson Mandela, I like very much. He helped a lot in promoting Indonesian batik. And he says, if you talk to a man in language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart. These quotes are so beautiful that it has been repeated so many times. And I think it goes very well with the theme to re-emphasize the importance of ELT in this very crucial and challenging time, to enable more and more people talk to each other's talks that goes to each other heart. With all, I thank you all. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Bapak Professor Ismunandar from Paris. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that keynote speech marks the end of the opening ceremony of
prayers. And we'll reconvene the conference at 1 p.m. in building A20. Let me repeat, 1 p.m. in building A20 for the plenary and parallel sessions. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you
And we'll
at
see you at
1
1 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.